Hey everybody, thank you for watching. I know that last week we did something different, but you probably don't know because nobody watched. No, literally nobody watched. I was trying something with Face Rig, and it turned out not nearly as good as I had hoped, but that was a little bit too much effort. I didn't want to get rid of it. Anyway, that's why I'm doing this. I got the new studio, so people have been complaining that I have the green screen and I don't do anything with it, so we'll try this, see how it works. It does fit in a little bit with the news. It's a news studio and we're going to talk a little bit. In case you have not been following wrestling Twitter or just avoid things that don't have to do with WWE, there is a huge story on the indies right now. As you are probably well aware, even if you don't follow the indies, there is a movement as of the past couple months of allegations catching up to people who are alleged to have committed sexual assaults. And a lot of people were wondering when this was going to catch up to wrestling, but I think it really surprised people who would be the first real person to fall, because it now appears that that is going to be Michael Elgin. Now, he is not accused of actually directly assaulting anybody, but rather of harboring somebody who did. A woman on Twitter, I'm not going to throw her name or anything out, but she had, her story is that she went to Michael Elgin back in March with the story that one of his students and one of his roster members at Glory Pro Wrestling in St. Louis had assaulted her. And what ended up coming out in November was that he had finally gotten rid of this guy, but he had been a two-face the whole time. He had been telling her one story and he was trashing her behind her back, calling her a ring rat, all this stuff, just very obscene. The way he was covering for him and saying all this kind of crap about her. And as soon as it hit, he started to lose bookings. And instead of coming forward and saying, hey, I messed up, he started to make it about how he was the victim, complaining about how he was losing bookings. And then more stuff came out that he may have been cheating on his wife with this same girl and possibly others. An old clip from the Kevin Steen show has started to make the rounds again, where he describes unpleasant acts with quite a bit of enthusiasm. Basically, everybody in wrestling hates Michael Elgin right now. But the upside to that is his tag team partner was asked of Michael Elgin how Jeff Cobb smells, which took on a life of its own as everybody absorbed this story about how awful Mike was. They all glommed onto this question that was asked in the Twitter DMs between this woman and Mike about how Jeff Cobb smells, and how Mike had no answer. He hasn't smelled him despite being his tag team partner. And then he went on and complained about Jeff not hanging out with him and not listening to his advice. And everybody wanted to find some kind of positive, so now everybody that has ever smelled Jeff Cobb is sticking up for how nice he smells. And it's a wonderful little silver lining to a crappy story. But there you go. Jeff Cobb smells nice. Michael Elgin smells like bullshit. As far as WWE stories go, the biggest one is Matt Hardy is now WOKEN. We found out that Impact is now giving their talent, and this is going retroactively, their IPs. So whatever you do on Impact, you can use going forward. And really, this is the biggest one to come out of that is they're no longer going to pursue Matt Hardy for doing Broken Matt Hardy. He can rename it WOKEN, but that was the name of it was never the issue. It was the whole characterisms and everything, which Matt Hardy is now doing completely on Raw. He's having a feud with Bray Wyatt, and I, for one, am very interested in seeing how that's going to go. I think that's the perfect guy for him to feud with. As much as I like Bray Wyatt, he's going to end up losing this feud probably just so that they can move on to whatever's next with Matt Hardy. But I think that's the best thing for this. But we are seeing that there are people that don't seem to be likely to re-sign with Impact. They have been having money problems, and they may not be looking to re-sign some of their more tenured wrestlers. Bobby Lashley is rumored to not be likely to re-sign. EC3, who would probably be the second biggest beneficiary of this keep your gimmick thing, because this is how everybody knows him. Before he was EC3, he was a guy on the game show version of NXT, and he did a little bit on the original Hulu days of NXT as we know it now, but he was gone before the WWE Network existed, so most people just aren't familiar with him from those days. So EC3 is what everybody knows him as. He's related kayfabe-wise to Dixie Carter. That's why he's Ethan Carter the third. So if he loses that, he has to start over with a new identity, which isn't a career killer. Look at John Morrison and how many different names he's gone through. But it's a hurdle you gotta jump over that now he doesn't have to worry about. That's really all I got for you. We only got a couple shows this weekend. There's 2 Evolve shows. Does not get me all worked up. But William Regal will be at those, so if you're in the area, go and see him. And then GSW is going to be live streaming on Powerbomb, which is always fun, but it's not a huge promotion with a bunch of names that you're going to recognize. But speaking of Powerbomb, I do want to let you know, if you have not seen it yet, I'm going to throw up a link at the end of this video, but there was a video that I put out that was very well received on a very small scale. This is something I've been working very hard on. It is a Google Calendar that will help you find when different events were in relation to each other, so you can get a little bit of historical perspective on what was going on, track a certain wrestler from throughout the year. But it also, because it covers so many different wrestling video on demand services, WWE Network, High Spots, Powerbomb, Progress, ICW, Global Wrestling Network, because it covers so many of those, it acts as a search engine for wrestling across all these different platforms. You can type in a wrestler's name and it will find up any event where that wrestler is that I've been able to catalog. So I'm doing it all by hand, so it's not like I can just have a spider crawl through everything and pick up all this metadata. I'm going in and manually adding, but I have roughly 1,000 different shows across all these different networks, and I'm starting with the biggest and working back. So check that video out, see if this is something that interests you. If you are at all interested in indie wrestling, it should. I've gotten just there's no ads on the video itself. I just did the sidebar ads because I want you to be able to watch everything. I don't want you to get cut in with little banner ads or mid-roll videos. I just want you to be able to watch the video, see what to do to install it, because I want you to appreciate this thing that I've been working on for so long, and that I hope will be a benefit to you as a as a wrestling fan. So check that out. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the Elgin story. Let me know what you think about Jeff Cobb's smell. Let me know what you think about Woken Matt Hardy in the comments below or at the Wreddit Country Club. We'd love to have you there on the weekend thread. I love you guys. Thank you for checking this out. As always, I am the Tramp. Cheers.
But I got paid $100 to pee on a girl in the heat of passion.
Take that, horny facts.